Hello, 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 everybody in the Tekken world, community, all that good stuff. We got the boys, Oni Bakuman and 2E2, and we have a very special guest. Another interview, another time, another place, another man named Mr. Jermanji, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
Yeah, what up?
Let's go. Clap, everybody. Let's go. We got claps, we got things, we got stuff. Man, we've had a very interesting couple days in the world of Tekken. But how about we actually start a little bit of Mr. Jermanji? I would like to know, first off, how did you kind of start playing Tekken? When did you start? How did you start? And why did you start? Pretty much. That's kind of what I'd like to know first. From you there, Mr. Manji.
Well, I started in Tekken Tag 2. But I mean, originally, I think I started playing Tekken 3 and played Yoshi. And Yoshi just was the most unique character for me. So I said, oh, well, I want to play this guy if I ever took the game serious. And Tekken Tag 2 was the time I took it serious. But that's where I started competitively, with Tekken Tag 2. And then T3, I was just like having fun. Didn't really know the game or like what I was really playing. And I don't recall how I got into the series as a kid, but I remember wanting to play Tekken again whenever I picked up the Tekken Tag 2 series.
Alrighty, awesome. So pretty much it's been Yoshimitsu out the gate. No deviants, no changes from Tekken 3 to Tag 2, like no variations between characters, just kind of Yoshimitsu. Did you have a secondary with Tag 2, or was it just kind of...
Yeah, I did. The person that stuck out the most was Leo. So Leo kind of was, in the scene in Seattle, was the star. Like, Yoshi kind of just died in that game. But I did say that if the next game that came out, that I was going to play Yoshi. So I already knew who my main was when 7 came out. But Leo was just kind of the filler for that game. But I am gonna pick Leo back up in 8.
Oh wow! Manji's gonna have not one but 2 killer characters. Alrighty.
Damn. So how do you? So like, it seems like you're a diehard main. As far as I feel like you are like one of the last standing people, or one of the few last standing people that are like actually like do this, because like, I mean, we saw a trend. I mean, you look at these this TWT event and whatnot, and you see how like everyone's like, okay, I gotta pick Fang, I gotta pick like, you know, Kunimitsu and all that stuff. How do you kind of see that different from the folks that, you know, pick whoever and whatnot?
I mean, I think that it's important, you know, based on some of the teachers that I've had that have helped me get to where I am, that you have a special meaning in your character. And for me, I have a very special meaning why I play Yoshi, and it's really hard to, you know, shake that to make me feel like I don't want to main him anymore. I want to go for top tier, whatever else. I look at the game a completely different way than a lot of other people, so I play Yoshi because I have fun with the character. The fact that he was, in my opinion, really good in 7 was just a bonus.
Damn. And what would you say is more of that special connection you feel with him? Like, just kind of like an interpersonal thing, or? Like...
I just really like how he plays. Like, I remember as a kid, like, I was like, dude, who stands on a sword and jumps on it, you know, or uses the sword as a helicopter? I'm like, there's no other unique character than Yoshi. There's no one that I can think of currently that does what he does. So I just have a lot of fun playing him. I have a passion for playing him, and it's just a lot of fun. It's hard to get bored of the character, personally, because some people probably would think, well, you've played a character so long, or you've wanted to play the character like just from the get-go and not drop him, so how do you not get bored? And character just has so much to offer. Before you never feel like you never feel like you've completely learned everything with the character like him. There's always just something new to discover and to utilize to your advantage.
Yeah, like he's endless. Like the stances, and then like the stances just like multiply the move by 2 times, and then you have all the crazy setups. I mean, you showed me some shit that I've been like, holy cow, like how the hell do you deal with that? And it's all that wall stuff, like it's just endless. And then you can only imagine now you add a heat mechanic to all of this, that's gonna just multiply that by like 10 times. I mean, I assume.
For sure.
Yeah. So I imagine, like, you know, they made like a little like tip off to Leo with the Yoshi and Leo in the kind of the cutscenes in 7. Did that kind of like get you excited and all that? I mean, those were your 2 mains, yeah?
It seemed a little ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, it's what it is.
They
With Tekken 8, with Yoshi, like seeing, you probably saw like a move list, I assume, for Yoshi already in Tekken 8, and like seeing his trailer and stuff. Like, are you excited for Tekken 8 Yoshi? Like, I know like there's some Yoshi mains that are like, he seems like too much on the Soul Calibur end of Yoshi, and I don't like the Soul Calibur Yoshi. Or how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I personally think that they just added particles to him from Soul Calibur. I think that it's possible that other Yoshi players or people, mains or just players, are looking at it too deep. Because, I mean, we haven't seen the character in action yet, so we don't know if you even utilize a lot of the Soul Calibur moves in your arsenal most of the time. You know, like, the moves could be completely unsafe and used for very few situations. You know, we just don't know. But, I mean, I'm excited to play him. I think that they made his combo routes really cool, and I think that overall it's the best design he's had since I've been playing.
Okay, hell
So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think that it's not too much Soul Calibur. I like the fact that, to me, it seems like they mesh both of them. Like, he still has Tekken moves, but they gave him some really nice quality of life things from Soul Calibur, and things that people probably consider pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty hype, especially in like the trailer that he had. He was doing like the helicopter like spin like blade like twist like on the wall for like a wall combo or something. Like he was like just spinning it like a saw blade. I was like, oh, that's like super reminiscent of like Soul Calibur. Like that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like I like that. Yeah, and like the soul thing that he has that were like some of the moves, like you could see like the 3 like souls like coming into the sword or whatever. Like I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm curious if that whole soul sword thing is going to be kind of mechanic, or is it just something that's, you know, particular
Just looks
to
cool.
Yoshi makes? Yeah, it just looks cool.
It's a mechanic. It's a
okay.
mechanic in Heat or his no sword stance, where he gains health back.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
pretty sweet. So okay, they're keeping that theme going. That's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
right now it's basically like you just sit and you can recover health in meditation stance, or I guess you can do the quarter circle forward grab if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay, that's cool. So all right, everyone, there's so many people that are like, fuck Yoshimitsu, right? Give us like, and the reason why is because I know I just like fucking lay that flat out right there, and it's because he's got like a lot of shit that really no other character has. I mean, we have like the 5-frame flash, we have like, you know, the healing stuff that we're just talking about. So he's like really crazy and unique and stuff like that. So is there an like, do you have like an argument for or against that being like too cheap, or maybe that like, you know, get good kind of thing? Like, how do you feel that it kind of melds in with the rest of the cast and whatnot?
I mean, it depends on what you're particularly talking about. Like, what does this pertain to? Because, I mean, there are certain things that are cheap, but for my philosophy, I like to look at a character as a whole. Like, I've noticed that a lot of players in Tekken like to look at the fact of, oh, this one thing's really cheap, why does he have this? But they don't look at the character as a whole. They look at the character as, that's really good, there's no reason he should have that. But then you find out that the character is incredibly linear, very minus on most things, and you have to play very compact because of that. And then, you know, it just comes full circle at that point. And I think that, you know, it makes a lot of sense, and it's reasonable that certain characters have stuff. But I like to get to I like to delve into the, you know, the archives and see why characters have certain things that they have. And I think as long as you're questioning with understanding and not, you know, like, why the hell do you have that? Like, that's insane, you know? Like, there's just a different type of energy to it And I think that new players and players overall should question that with understanding why characters have stuff instead of just jumping to the conclusion that there's just no reason they couldn't have possibly had a good reason, etc., etc. Because I think it's also a huge reason why certain players end up struggling a lot more, because they get caught up in that move and they think it's really cheap, and before you know it, their mental goes to shit because they can't accept the fact that a person has this or the way that this situation works.
Yeah, no, totally agree. You actually mentioned mental. That's like a big thing that you are all about, and you're actually one of the people that were trying to help me with that, because I kind of like suffered from that bad mental not long ago, right? So that kind of ties into, you have your dojo and whatnot, and so could you kind of give us a little bit of a spiel about the dojo, kind of where it started, like why you started it, that kind of thing, like the origins?
Yeah, sure. The reason I started the dojo is I just wanted to help people with potential and whatnot. And so I thought about it. I thought I would do it. For a long time, someone a long time ago told me I should do it. And I always disagreed with it because I used to be not a very patient person with students. I used to think in a very narrow-minded perspective, like I think a lot of players do. No offense to taken, but I mean, I just think that it's the truth. And then before I know it, like, I grew a lot and I was able to make that less consistent. Like, I think that part of me still exists. I think that is in general for everyone, but because I mean, you're only human, right? So you're gonna make mistakes and whatnot, and I think that that's fine, but I think that it's important that it's as less consistent as possible. Like, if I get impatient 1 out of 10 times with a student, I don't think that's a deal breaker by any means,
That's fair. Yeah, it's like a point of growth for everyone, I guess. I mean, everyone gets pissed when like someone doesn't immediately get it or whatever. I mean, because it's like, you get so used to just, being like, just do the fucking down 4-2 electric, bitch. And it's like, no, like, I can't do that, right? Or whatever
Exactly.
it is, Yeah.
And so it really was just based on that of I wanted to help people, and before I knew it, I was getting students and I was helping people, and it was great to see. And I think one of the main things that why I enjoyed it so much is just seeing people grow and helping people through their struggles and seeing that growth that happens, whether it be mental, whether it's different approaches to look at something in the game. And that's something I tackle with a lot of people in the dojo when it was running right now. Right now it's temporarily down for personal reasons. But yeah, like that was one of the things that I get a lot of gratification and a lot of happiness from, is that, oh wow, it's clicking for them. They're really understanding the concept that I'm trying to portray to them and whatnot. And I mean, everyone takes time, everything takes time, and that's one thing that I've had to learn over the fact of being a sensei, is just that, not everyone's going to learn at the same pace, and that's fine. But, I do think, though, after a certain amount of time that people should start understanding what you're trying to explain to them, though. And I do have some struggles with that at times, but I mean, I try to look as positive and open-minded as I can, even if I'm dealing with a difficult student.
No, that's
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, seriously.
So who kind of like inspired you to I guess take this route, or did you just already have the the mindset of oh yeah, I want to help people or whatever, in the game, or were you?
I mean, the inspiration was kind of short-lived, because he told me that, and then we stopped being friends a long time ago. And after that happened, it wasn't the inspiration didn't die because of that. It died mainly because I wasn't ready. And when he had told me this, it took me maybe years after to realize that I was actually really patient with people, and I had the knowledge to help people. And it really felt like, a no-brainer question at that point. Like, well, if you want to do it, do it, And I'm still learning, and I still learn all the time. One of the people that someone tells me all the time that a teacher, it's important to live through the ideology that a teacher is an eternal student. You are always learning, and to never think that you've taught your students as much as that you've taught them everything you know or whatever, because there's always ways to replicate learning.
It's kind of dovetailing off that, with teaching somebody, it allows not only the teacher and not only the student to learn, but the teacher to be able to grow and experience the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs. And I'm feeling like when like I said before, when that thing clicks and you see a student get something that you've been talking to them about for maybe days, maybe weeks, maybe months, and it clicks, you're like, man, I did what I was put on this kind of earth to do and teach, which is probably very gratifying.
Yeah, it is definitely. I mean, it's nice to just see them growing overall, and and the whole journey of it has been just really eye-opening. I've learned a lot, and I love doing it. I'm hoping to do it in Tekken 8, but currently I'm dealing with a lot of stuff right now, so I don't know when I'm going to reopen it yet.
That's all right.
I feel that.
Yeah, that's fair.
You have a lot of inspiration, for the person that won't know you specifically, if you go onto your feed, every so on and so often you see Bruce Lee, right? And I know that he's a big figure in your mind for how to approach learning and how to approach growth and all that stuff. So what's kind of your story with Bruce Lee and how he's kind of been introduced to your life and how you kind of live that way, I suppose?
Well, both of 2 out of 3 of my teachers that have taught me the game were huge Bruce Lee enthusiasts, really massive. One of them actually showed me the Lost interview with Bruce, with Pierre Burton, and Bruce, and ever since then I've been really looking into the ideology, the concepts, and all kinds of different stuff about the person. The Be Water quote really hit me with the adjustments and stuff like that when it came to the game, and I've learned the true meaning behind it as of recently, and it just makes it that much cooler. And it just seems like with Bruce, I've never found any quote that I've not liked, and I've always been able to relate to my life in Tekken.
Oh, cool. So I guess it's beyond even just Tekken. This is a life thing, then a mental thing, I guess.
Yeah, because from what I understand, if I have the right credible information, the Be Water quote doesn't just mean obviously adapting. It goes more deeper into that. Whatever situation you face, adapt to it. Be like water, experience life. Something along those lines. I don't quite remember fully, but I just like the ideology behind it and what he was going for when he really inspired people.
Nice. So with all this kind of knowledge, we have Tekken 8 starting, and you're already a sensei and stuff. So what would you say is a piece of advice you can give to new players about how to approach this? A lot of people, when they start these games, they don't even know anything competitive for that matter, leave alone fighting games, and they don't really have that much direction as to where to start, and so it can breed a certain type of mentality when they're playing, and they could either have a really good time or a really bad time. So what would you say is a piece of advice you can give to players between all this mental game stuff and as well as maybe just the game as a whole?
I think the most thing that I would say, and it's something that I think a lot of players overall struggle with, is that don't play characters just because someone's told you they're good. Play a character because you really enjoy them, regardless if they're low tier, they're top tier, doesn't matter, because that is when you have a special meaning and a bond with your character. It's hard to have character crisis, and I talked about this briefly when someone in the Yoshi Discord was like, "Yeah, my friends are saying Yoshi's really hard, and that I shouldn't main," and basically kind of implying they shouldn't main him because of that. And I was like, you shouldn't really care too much about what people are saying. It should be just your enjoyment. This is one of those scenarios where you get to be selfish because it's all about your experience, your journey, and it really goes into and correlates to the fact of you should be enjoying the journey, not the destination. When you focus on tiers, when you focus on a top tier character, you're focusing on the destination. You're only that seems like the your big concern.
I agree fully with that.
Same.
And so that's the biggest thing I can say is is find that character you enjoy, you know, and it really, like I said, it will stop character crisis. It can create a lot of roadblocks that could have happened to be dismissed because you were able to build that that bond with the character and realize stuff like that. There's a lot of people that just don't just sit back, right, and evaluate if it's them or it's their character. And that's also something else that happens via mentality or mindset. But also sometimes it can happen when you're playing really strong characters or you're not getting into the character for the right reasons, regardless if it's, like I said, if it's any character. Because mentality and mindset is just really important in the game. And if you can tackle that, regardless if it's from any other game, like let's say CSGO, right? That's one where a mentality is going to be huge. If you have that mentality already taken away, you're already ahead of a lot of people. It's not the main thing, but you're going to be ahead in your journey, just for you as a player.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%
It's like
agree.
character crises are like very tough to go through. Like I've definitely gone through that when Tekken 7 first came out because I wasn't really enjoying playing Kazuya when he first came out in Tekken 7 through season 1 and 2. Season 3 I picked him back up and he became like super fun again. So like, you know, in Tekken 8 he's not really, you know, that like, he's kind of reminding me of Tekken 7 or season 1 Kazuya a little bit, but I'm still gonna play him regardless just because I like the character that much. So,
There you go.
yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I remember Texas Showdown 2022. I was really thinking about maybe I should be investing more in top tier and stuff like that. It just seems like I couldn't do what all these other players could do. And then Texas Showdown went really well, and I just realized that it's not the fact that I have to play a different character. It's the fact that I just need to play how I know I can play. And I think that I will be fine. And so ever since I would say that moment, even if sometimes I have the passing thoughts of wanting to play or playing another character as a main, I think that they really disappear because I have established that foundation mentally that I'm going to keep playing Yoshi because I know what I'm capable of, even if the character isn't as strong as a top tier.
Yeah, no, it's a really good mentality. It actually kind of ties in nicely with what you were going with when you brought up Mushin and stuff like that. And you know, you're just kind of like doing and like being in the moment and all that stuff. It really, that's kind of something that okay, we got another live notification. It seemed like we went offline for a second, but I guess we didn't. Basically, well, I guess if we could segue into that, like that mentality that you kind of understood and that like realization in Texas Showdown, how does that kind of work and stuff? Like, how does that kind of translate to Tekken and I guess life in general?
Well, I mean, I think that it comes to the fact of being realistic and looking at variables and information and breaking them apart and seeing where they go and seeing if they are relevant to the situation that you're thinking about, right? Like in this case, I was like, well, I should play another character because I would do better, and then I do better, and I see how I'm playing, and then I come to that realization, like, well, I can still play this character. It's not the character, you know. It's something that I had to be realistic, and I had to look at the variables to come to the conclusion. Without going about it that way, I think something along the way would have been missed that was very vital to the process of understanding that and approaching it that way.
Okay.
And it goes back to just evaluating yourself and realizing, like, are you the problem or is it the character? And that's something that I think is also really important when it comes to the game just by itself, because there's so many people that are willing to blame their character over them. Like, I can tell you, after I went through my little rough patch with Yoshi, I've never blamed my character, even if people have literally told me to my face or through messages that you should play someone better. And I'm just like, well, until I can see where people are directly talking about that I should play someone else as a main, like for myself, I'm not going to even consider it.
I respect that.
Yeah, that's
So like, how does that do you think that plays into like high level play too? Like, how do you feel about like I don't know, like high level players kind of using those top tier characters to like, you know, win? Like, you know, Arslan, as he said himself, he said like, you know, Cooney is like super strong, right? But his favorite character is actually Nina, but like he doesn't really play Nina at you know, at those levels. I mean, he does sometimes, but he only do it like, you know, like every now and then. But most of the time he's playing Cooney or, you know, another top tier. And, like, he kind of gave up on Kazumi.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that like plays in?
I mean, I think it has to do with the fact of wanting to win with probably all your being, because based on what I've seen from Arslan, you know, by no means am I trying to be disrespectful, but I mean, I've seen tweets and I've seen things that that basically lead me to the determination that he really wants to win as much as possible. And so, if you're going to go that route, you might as well go top tier. Unfortunately, it could be it sacrifices. You know, it sacrifices not being able to play your favorite character and certain things like that. But I mean, if winning it takes that much of a precedent, then I mean, why not?
Yeah, in his case, I feel like he has like a mission from Pakistan. Like, I mean, he's trying to like put them on the map. Like, he's really like legitimately trying to improve foreign affairs with the country. Like, you know, you see the big boss matchup for those guys is the Visa matchup, right? Which is really shitty because it's like there's so much tech, and I'm sure you've seen I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh. Dude, that guy's Yoshi's crazy, and I mean, there's a guy for like every character out there, and they're just gods that just basically are bound to their borders, and it's unfortunate, but you know, I guess in his case, he is like, he's going in with a higher purpose, so to speak. I guess. Yeah. I don't know. But I still agree with you though. The joy of like, cause like he talks about how he wants to be a Nina main, and he was a Nina main for the longest time. Nina Zafina. And,
well, I mean, the thing is as well is that the higher principle that he's going based off, the thing that we have to be careful of, even if it's if it's a big goal of ours, is that sometimes we can't let it succumb everything that we want to do besides that, right? You know, like if he wants to play Nina, I'm sure he would make it work. He's good enough at the game by any means. Like, I mean, he's amazing at the game. Yeah. You know? So I mean, I think that it's important to really evaluate if it's that important to overthrow using your favorite character just so you can win, because I'm sure he could win with either. Yeah. Honestly, I think it would take more time, and you know, he might he would potentially take more losses and not do as well. But I mean, that might just be a short-term thing that happens. You know, but you know, it is what it like I said, it just comes down to the simple fact of what is more important. Are you wanting to enjoy the journey and go from there and, you know, progress by just working hard and doing all that stuff, or do you want to just win and be at the destination? You know,
I'm feeling like if I'm kind of thinking about Arslan, I think he's at a point right now where he's done it all. He's done everything that realistically he needs to do for himself. I feel like he wants to enjoy himself and enjoy bringing his friends that are very, very good to play in other tournaments and be able to, you know, get past that old, you know, visa situation and figure that out to get his friends to go, hey, you know, it probably gets pretty lonely. It's kind of, you know, not having your friends around to play. I mean, obviously, you know, he has friends outside of Pakistan, but I think he'd be having a nice time with his, you know, main friend that he's been growing up with and playing with. So, well,
when people start succeeding, people get a lot of hate. Like, you know, you start, you're the rookie, people root for you. You get to like middle level, people probably still rooting for you, maybe not as much, but when you become the best in the world, everyone fucking hates you. Everyone's like, oh, this stupid bitch is playing Grand Finals Zafina versus Zafina. You know, it's like everyone gets like, you know, all rowdy about it and shit. So
the TWT chat was very, very toxic. Very toxic. Like, I've never seen it like that toxic in a very long time. Like, every time, you know, even like Super Akuma, like, I really don't understand, you know, why Super Akuma gets the hate that he gets, because like he's a nice guy. I met him at Evo. He's a super nice guy. Like, you know, like he's super wholesome. You know, like he doesn't seem like he's doing anything wrong, right? Like, you know, when he gets on the stage, people are like, yeah, fuck this guy. I hope he goes back to his country. I hope he's disappointed in himself. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, and just because he plays Akuma, dude, like, come on, man. Like, that's too much, dude. That's too much.
I agree. Yeah, for sure. The other thing that I would also say is that I don't know if I would agree with the fact that he wants to have fun, because his actions are showing that he's still picking top tier whenever he wants to win. And I would also say that there's always going to be something to win. And it seems like, regardless if that's small or big, it just seems like he's going that route 9 out of 10 times, where it's like, well, there's something else, so I want to win it, you know? Like, Tekken 8's gonna have a complete set of tournaments, different stuff, you know? Like, the money couldn't even increase, right? Like, the money could increase, like, 2K, you know? I could still see him still wanting to win.
Oh, yeah.
Even if he's done everything in 7, and let's just say 7 went for another year. I mean, it's just my opinion, personally. It doesn't have to be taken to heart, or I'm not saying, you know, I'm not trying to be too critical, but it's just my viewpoint of, I feel like you could have another year of 7. He could have won TWT, you know, like this year, and then he would most likely try to win TWT again to the most of his ability.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just the trend keeps repeating itself of what he wants to do. And I'm not saying by any means I don't want to give the impression that it's not like you shouldn't want to win this much. I just think that eventually, when does it become enough where you are sated and satisfied? And you can look at it a different way. You can look at it whereas you don't have to win every single time.
Yeah. And like, I also had a question for, like, you know, all of you. And you're like, going off of this topic is like, you guys think character loyalty is still there, or do you think it's like kind of dead at this point? Like in Tekken 7, of course. Like, obviously in Tekken 8, everyone's gonna pick their characters. I don't feel like people are gonna go straight to the top tiers yet. You know, because, you know, when Tekken 7 first started out, I think most people did play the characters that they like to play. I don't think there was like that much tier whoring around, you know. But, you know, at this point in Tekken 7, you know, do you feel like character loyalty is still dead, or do you think that, like, you know, the meta's kind of outgrown?
I mean, it's a very higher percentage for sure to go to not be loyal to your characters, but I mean, we see it sometimes here and there. We saw it in the LCQ. I mean, for whatever that's worth, you know. And I still think that's cool to see. I wish we saw more of it, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just structured that way. There's a couple questions from chat, actually. There's one from my guy. He was saying, I have a genuine question about mental. How do you know if it's affecting your gameplay? I honestly don't have that problem, but I'm curious to know how it might affect.
Well, I mean, like, one of the main things I would say is that, like, you'll be dropping combos, you'll be missing punishes, you'll be so concentrated in the fact of whatever made you mad or whatever, potentially, that you won't be paying attention to other things and the game. That's one thing. And I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, it seems like it'd be obvious that your mental's cracking, but it's not the obvious thing in the world. It's something that you have to pay close attention. And the other thing I would say is look for consistency. Like, what happens when your mental cracks, or what are the differences that occur in your gameplay, and then see if that is consistent when the mental cracks. And if it is, then there you go. I mean, that's just one thing as well. It is one of the main things that I could tell you for sure. Because I mean, it's hard to it's hard to actively pay attention and also be aware of your mental 100% of the time. It's illogical for it to do that 100% of the time, but it's just hard in general to keep everything in your head and be like, okay, I'm cracking or whatever. You know, it takes time, it takes dedication, and it also just takes the wanting to do it. There's a lot of players that will go the route of not paying attention to their mental because something is just annoying them, like online, for example. And the way I look at it is that it's not going to help you in the long run to be annoyed at something that is out of your control. Like if you can't drop combos or your backdash goes flips, yeah, it sucks. But the bigger picture, not trying, is to literally look at the fact of you have 2 games in a tournament set. Don't look at one situation as everything, because 9 out of 10 times you're going to succumb to it, and it's going to get you killed. Even if you don't care about the win so much, like it sucks to lose that way. It's not even about the loss so much. It's more the fact of how you performed, because one situation broke everything apart. And I have this problem too, and I'll touch base and say it's not easy by any means. When I talk about when I've talked to like David here about building a mental, one of the main things I said is that I think I use the linking log analogy, right? You gotta, when you're building linking logs, you gotta see what is going to be the structure, what's going to keep it from falling, and then you go from there. So, you know, it's just like, or I guess a better one would be a building, right? We start from the base. If our base is not strong, you're gonna fall. The building's gonna tip over pretty quickly, and you're not going to have a consistent leg to stand on. So you have to really look at the base, and if the base is weak, that's what's going to happen. So it's really important about that, even if it's extra time or it feels like you're falling behind. It's very important to do that, because the people that get ahead, there's going to be people that get ahead and they cut corners or they skip the main structure of the building, and then they're going to fall down.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it really goes to the show. Like fundamentals, like as like a concept, is the most important thing to everything. Whether that's your mental, like just to be fundamentally sound there, to be fundamentally sound in like the actual game. Like, I mean, you could be like you know, you could be an engineer, but you need to be good at like math. You know, like the fundamental of that. It's just a weird like tie back to the basics, like almost every time.
It definitely is, and I mean, sometimes it might not be fundamental based. It might just be the fact of having a better perspective or a mindset. Like I tell people that if you have a better mindset, and you automatically become a better player, because you're going to deal with things better. You're going to be paying attention. Like something that I vouch for and tell people about, and we have conversations, and I've had conversations with people about, is that whenever you want to learn and grow, it doesn't feel like it would be a great tournament mindset, but when you literally want to replicate that is what you do. And so that's one of the main things that makes it strong, is that you're just focusing on the growth and learning. You're not focused on, did I win? Did I punish that? You're just like, well, did I learn? Okay, cool. You know, and then that goes back to the perspective and the mindset, right? Well, I'm not always going to learn, so what is going to be the main thing that I can shift my perspective to, so I don't get pissed off at the fact that I didn't learn today? And the one example I will give is the fact that, how about all the opportunities that you have to do better, but looking at it from an understanding viewpoint, instead of looking at it as, oh, well, I didn't do good 3 out of 3 times, that's really bad. Instead of, and then you look at the fact of, it's just an opportunity to do better. It doesn't mean you have to do better, but you have all these opportunities, so it can reassure you to stay solid and keep your mental in check.
Yeah.
It makes it to where you basically have an infinite fortification around your mental. It's not infinite, obviously, but it's really hard to crack when you're able to shift your mindset and flip it in a way like, oh, I just dropped that combo. Oh, it's all right, though. We have this round left, you know? And then you just go from there.
Yeah. The ultimate it is what it is kind of deal, basically, yeah. It's like, I know Japanese, they call it shogunai or whatever. It's like a very, like, cultural thing for them, you know? Like, they very much so, like, move forward with whatever bullshit that happens, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Actually, okay, there's a good number of questions.
Yeah, my guy has another question. He said, okay, another general question for everyone. What do you play for? Fun, winning, or something else? I play for fun. But I do want to win too. I really do want to win, and I want to win with my character. I don't want to win with another character. Winning with Kazi, it feels good. It really does. And especially winning with the character that you really like, against another character. Like even if it's like high tier or their favorite character, whatever. Like winning with your favorite character just feels like it's a different experience than winning with the character that you don't really have a care in the world for. If that makes sense.
So I have a lot to say actually about this because I have friends that have given me this scenario where is it better to get 9th or what's worse, 9th or 2nd? And I'll circle back to that in a second. But I play to win, but I play for the learning. So I only want to win so I can learn. I don't want to go to losers early because then I can learn less. But I tell people all the time, and David will even vouch, he asked me what I felt at Texas Showdown, I think 2023, I think it was, and he says, well, how do you feel about the tournament? And the only thing I told him was, we'll see. That's literally all I said, and I told him the reason I feel like this is because it's an open mindset. You're not saying you're going to do bad, you're not saying you're going to do well, but you have an understanding, but it's not causing problems, but you have an understanding that you could lose to anyone. And I think it's really important to feel like that. But yeah, for me, learning is just so much fun. So going back to the words I just mentioned about 9th or 2nd, right? I personally don't care about either. It doesn't bother me if I got 2nd or 9th. I could get 2nd for years. Some people are like, but you're so close to winning. And I'm like, yeah, that's where there's people that are different. There's people that fall into that idea of they want to win the tournament. I'm not there to win the tournament. I'm there to enjoy myself, have good sets, maybe take out some killers. But the main nucleus of what I want to accomplish is just learning as much as I can. That's where I have the most fun, and that's what I like to do, And I mean, it just goes back to this, and I say this a lot. It's just I enjoy the journey, not the destination. There are days where I fall off that path, of course, but I try to get back to that path and thinking that way as much as possible. Because I've realized after a while with setting these astronomically big goals, I had a goal of being globally known as the Yoshi of just the world or something at one point, and I realized that if I keep working hard and I keep doing what I'm doing, I will eventually get there, or I will eventually keep being successful because I'm targeting and concentrating on really good things instead of thinking about, okay, I didn't win this tournament, I gotta win this one, or whatever else. I'm just chilling, And if I don't do well, it is what it is. There's more opportunities, and it just means that I gotta come back stronger.
So it kind of gives you that hunger. That you kind of need.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the hunger, you're not satiating the learning.
Yeah.
Learning and the hunger are one and the same for you, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I literally had someone that told me, and I had a friend, and I had someone after Frosty's. I got 2nd this last year, and I was mad and I looked really angry because of how I played. Because I just got stuck in what I was doing, and he outplayed me and adapted. I still got outplayed by very means, but it just sucked to do down forward 2 on timing, and it just not work. It sucked that I kept doing it, even though I knew it wasn't going to work after a long period of time, and just dying to mistakes that I knew how to fix. But someone came up to me and they were like, I knew you wanted to win. And my response mentally in my head was, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I didn't want to win. I wanted to play better. I wanted my gameplay to be more solid. I was actually really happy for Azure when he beat me. I was just really upset of how I played, and I vent that a lot, and it doesn't come off it comes off and gets misconstrued a different way, but I wasn't like, oh man, I would have beat you this. I wasn't making excuses or anything. I just vent a lot, and I'm working on it. But yeah, like it's just how I am. But the whole thing I was thinking was like you know, you played overall really well, and it just sucks that you didn't play well to the very end. But you know, I was just happy with like, well, I learned a lot and I did really good, you know. But I tried to mainly keep my focus on the fact of what I learned, and whenever I don't do well in bracket or I did decent or whatever or good, I look at exactly that.
Nice.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
People get really people get really clouded by the idea of that you got to win tournaments and it's really important to place and all sort of type of stuff. Because as soon as you put those ideals in your head that you have to win, you got to place, got to do well at your first tournament, all these certain things, it just starts making you drown more and more in pools.
Yeah.
Because it just factors in, because it goes into a contradicting mentality that you don't want to have, which is winning is that important to the point of sacrificing enjoyment and other types of important things.
Yeah, there's that, and on top of that, like just from a logical and just sort of like a statistic standpoint, if you set the goal to win, like you're gonna win, you're gonna lose like 80% of the time. You might win 20% of the time, right? Whatever the ratio is, but you're basically mentally failing that 80% of the time, and then that compounds and your mental goes down. So it's just like a bad thing. Whereas like, you know, you were telling me is that, oh, like I punished this move like appropriately or whatever, like that specific small win. If that's like the bar, then it's like, oh, you get that boost to like, you know, mental. Like you're like, oh wow, I did something cool. You may have gotten 3-0'd or whatever, but you know, at least I knew that I dealt with a situation that I labbed in prior. Like it's a small wins that build up, and then the byproduct is winning, I guess, after like a year.
Yeah, it's a phase trend. Yeah, you're going through phases instead of like, well, I gotta win this tournament, you know? And that's why when people say the stuff about winning, I'm like, well, do you have to win the tournament? And if they agree yes, I'm like, well, there's different ways to win. And that's basically what David was expressing, is different ways to win. And you build up in a certain way, and then you can go for that idea of wanting to win the tournament and be mentally fine because you did the training, you did the work. It's just like with the mentality stuff we're talking about, right? Like building that building, it took me a long time. And honestly, I mean, I won't go too deep into it, but I used to be a very egotistical player. Mark will tell you. But I took but I took a long break. I actually played WoW for 2 or 3 years, and I realized that I just enjoyed learning, and then it went into wanting to win so I can learn more. And it's the happiest I feel personally. Even if people sometimes are like, well, I wanted you to win this or whatever. I'm like, that's nice, but unfortunately I have to be selfish in that and be like, well, if I'm not able to learn and have fun like I want to do, I'm sorry, I don't want to win.
And you know, kind of dovetailing off of that, what Manji was saying is that, like, yeah, Manji, like, it's so frustrating to me to know him as a friend, like people not seeing the stark difference from old Manji to new Manji, or understandable Manji, if that makes any freaking sense. But you know, it's frustrating to me that I see a good dude that has changed a lot. He's become a pretty good man over here. You know what I'm saying? But I think we had another question on the stream side, and the question was, why is wanting to win viewed as a toxic trait? And why would you compete if your goal is not to win?
Well, I mean, some other people like to play competitions for different reasons, you know? Like, I still take it serious, but I just have a different way of looking at it. So, again, don't get me wrong, like, it can be toxic. It depends on the person and how they're going about it. Like, I have friends that are like that, you know? And so, what I've seen from them and seeing myself, if you combine ego with winning and making winning the top bar, you will become toxic over time. Especially if you're not someone who is aware that you do that. You know, But I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be that it's toxic all the time. It just depends on how the player is viewing it. I just tell people to be careful. Like when someone tells me that they want to win and they want to win as much as possible, it scares me because there's a lot of players that there's just a lot of people in general that are not ready for how much continuous mindful thought process you have to have. You have to be so mindful of what your mind is going through in so many situations, because you never know. You could be gradually changing. Like whenever I was that egotistical person, I did not know how much darker my mind was getting because I was not being aware of it.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's hard to be introspective when, like, especially like when you're like trying to focus so hard. I mean, Tekken's fucking hard, dude. Like, I mean, you have to be focusing like super intensely on stuff, and you know, everything else kind of disappears around you, right? Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. It's well, may as well segue to another one. It says this one's for Tooney, but I guess I'll give it for everyone too. It says, how do you overcome the struggles of playing a high executed character?
I kind of just look at it from like you have to go like different routes for this one, because like one, you have to know which tools work like in a 1st to 2 setting. You know, how well is your mental, because mental really plays into, like, people don't talk about like mental enough, I feel like, because like especially if you're playing a high execution character, your mental matters a lot. Like if you have a bad day, your electrics aren't there, you're not gonna punish anything. Like, simple as that. You're not launching anything. I remember one time I was like in a tournament and I was getting like super, you know, disappointed in myself. My mental was going super down. I was even punishing, like, I went up against a Noctis and he did like 3 or 4 like down 4-2s, and I blocked all of them. And I didn't even attempt to do an electric. I just did down 4-1-2 instead, and because I was not confident at all in my execution that day. So, like, you know, your days matter. Use the tools that are going to you know, get you through a 1st to 2 set. Like in a 1st to 10, like 1st to 7, 1st to 5, you could use anything, because like you have time to, you know, download your opponent. I think downloading your opponent in a 1st to 2 is very hard to do, like especially with a defensive based character. Like if your character doesn't have like too many tools to blow up, you know, your opponent with, then you're definitely gonna have to rely on your defense more. So definitely, you know, lab those situations. Keep your mental high, like have your confidence like all the way up here. Don't have like don't have like any confidence, like, or like where your confidence is like in the gutter, because like if you don't have any confidence that you can, you know, win the set against, like, you know, your worst matchup, let's say like Kazuya's worst matchup, like, you know, Steve, there's the Steve and Lee, probably like worst matchups for Kazuya, honestly. And if you don't have the confidence that you think that you could beat those characters, then you're not going to beat those characters, like, at all. Like, it's just not going to happen. And don't dwell, like Manji said. Like, don't dwell on your small losses. Like, you know, if you didn't punish something right, you know, don't dwell on it. Like, keep moving forward. Always keep moving forward. Move on. Think about the next step in your head. Like, oh, if that situation happens again, I'm gonna launch you, or I'm gonna punish you, or I'm gonna sidestep you, like, etc. Right? Keep your options in your back pocket, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that goes for pretty much any character too. You know, like, regardless of what character you use. It's just that, you know, with Kazuya and like the Mishimas too. Like, I mean, Heihachi is like kind of hit and miss, because like he could blow up your his opponent, but like Devil Jin and Kazuya, you really got to rely on your defense more than your offense.
No,
I guess the thing I would say is that I mean, I think this is like an overall thing. It also goes back into the question about how do you go about build whatever the question was about mental was I would say also, even in casuals, is to take breaks in between those games if you need them.
Yeah.
After you've become aware that it's a problem for you whenever your execution falters, that you start breaking down. I would say taking breaks in between and breathing, or mindful breathing, or just some sort of breathing exercise.
Actually, could you elaborate a little bit on that? I know that was like a very big part of our kind of conversations was the idea of mindful breathing and being mindful in general as well. Just because like I know a lot of people here maybe have not heard that kind of before. So could you give like kind of a 101 like quick spiel on that?
Yeah, certainly. So mindful breathing is basically when you inhale for about 3 seconds, you hold the breath, and then you slowly exhale as slowly as possible. It's very important. Well, I would say very imperative that you do it slowly because that's what's calming you down. And I've seen within myself and other people I've told about it where they've been able to reset mentally, like complete reset. Whenever I use it in my vocabulary about resetting, I mean like their mental, everything is completely changed. It's not even the same player anymore in some cases. And it was something I learned in therapy at one point, and I've just been using it mainly for Tekken, but I also used to use it in my life as well, and it really helps. But the other thing is most important to note is that it's very unlikely that you're going to feel the impact the first time. So it's very important that you build the skill. I always tell people, regardless if you're angry, regardless if you need it, you should do it before match and after match, because you don't necessarily know 100% of the time what's going on inside you, like when you're about to explode, when your mental's cracking. So that way you can keep it in check and not have to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It goes a long way. It's kind of crazy. It's like the simplest thing you could think of, right? It sounds like it wouldn't do anything, but the body's weird, man. The body responds in strange ways.
Body is weird.
And especially like experience too, because I have one friend, King of the Court. He like recently transferred to PC, like a couple months ago. He was struggling in tournaments with Alisa. And he was like going 0-2, like the first maybe 6-7 tournaments he was entering in. He always went like 0-2, and he kept dwelling on his mistakes. And I'm like, dude, don't dwell. And he always used the vocabulary of like coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? And I'm like, yo, don't use those words, because yeah, you coulda, yeah, you shoulda, but it didn't happen, did it? So like, don't dwell. Always move forward, dude. Like, make sure you're ready for the next time it happens, right? And now, like, now that his mental is like changed a lot, he's learning more. He's not dwelling as much now. He's winning more. Like, he was last tournaments that I've seen him play in, he's always made top 8. And I'm like, yeah, there you go, dude. Like, there you go. And losing also equals experience too. Like, people don't realize that. Like, my friends that I try to get into Tekken, they don't really play fighting games like that. And they don't realize that losing equals experience. That's how you gain knowledge, is by losing. And that's like a very normal thing, especially in fighting games. Like, you're supposed to lose. Like, that's why it's a 1v1. It's not, they're not giving us an NPC, to fight against, right? You're supposed to lose. So when I've seen people blow up because like they're using, let's just fucking throw it out, like Kunimitsu or something, right? Or like Fang Wei. They're not used to certain to people like punishing their shit really hard, because not a lot of players do it because they don't have the knowledge to do so. But when they go against those people that do have the knowledge to punish them really hard for it, they get really pissed off, because it's like, oh, like this never happened to me before, like why is it happening to me now? It's like, because you never really lost like that before. Like, but now that you're at this level, people are going to start knowing your shit more, and you're going to get launched, you're going to get punished, you're going to get sidestepped now. Like, that's just how the game works. It's not built for you to win all the time,
Agreed.
Very true.
this goes also correlates to the fact of learning to put weights on yourself, even in a situation where you really want to win, like first to tens or tournament matches. Like I even say this, and some people might look at me or give me a side eye, but in tournaments, at least for me, they're a completely different environment. So I can replicate what I'm working on really well in casuals, but I couldn't do in tournament. So then you put your weights on yourself, even if you're down or you're about to go out, you still do it. Like, okay, I don't play life lead. So how about even though I'm winning and I can just kill him, I just backdash. I know it looks like really cocky and toxic, but I mean, it also is just that you're doing it because you want to learn more and you want to improve that area of your game. So I mean, and that way as well, when, like he said, about losing, if you put yourself in that situation, or you mentally put yourself in the situation like, oh, I don't like to lose whenever this happens, and you put imaginary stakes in front of it and you believe it, then you'll be ready whenever those stakes are real. And it's all about, it's very important whenever you have a weakness and you understand you have one, that you put yourself in that situation and you're uncomfortable. That way you make that weakness your strength.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, yeah, at that point you're just situationally training. Like, yeah, you're just trying to get that experience, and even if it has to be like a fake environment, like, I mean, it's the whole point. Like, you take an exam in school to be able to be a doctor and maybe do a real surgery properly one day, or whatever the hell it is. I mean, that's a terrible example, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely something that is very worthwhile to do, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the last one that we see in the chat. It says, "How interested would you guys? How interested would you have stayed in the franchise if your mains didn't exist?" And this is for all of you. So, like, I guess since you're kind of like a diehard, we'll start with you. Like, if Yoshi just ceased to and I guess let's just say Leo, just for context, right? How would your interest levels be? Because you are very much so attached to them.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think that I would probably still try John, and probably just see if maybe they're going to add Yoshi still. Because, I mean, like the scenario with the first DLC, right? I mean, he got added, he's going to be here in the next 2 or 3 months. Even though he wasn't in starting roster. And it gives me insight, and that the fact that people shouldn't always be upset that certain characters, even their mains, haven't made it. Because you never know. They could literally be the first person.
Speaking of that, too, I saw the Twitter post that Harada responded to himself, too, about the Eddie player that was basically saying that the Tekken developers are racist, supposedly, because Eddie wasn't in the game. And that they don't like black representation in fighting games. I'm like, we have 2 other black characters that are, actually black. Like Eddie's Brazilian black. He's a Brazilian black man, right? But like, it's kind of weird, and it's like it's a double standard. I feel like, because it's like they try to argue that like Eddie's like descended from Africa. I'm like, yeah, so is Leroy and fucking like Raven. Like, yeah, they may be like African Americans, but like that doesn't mean that their descent isn't from Africa. Like that makes no sense, So I don't know. I think that Eddie players, I'm happy for you guys, but at the same time, like, if you guys did have that mindset, y'all kind of didn't deserve it. You guys having that mindset like that, it's not that serious. It's never that serious. It's a video game,
Yeah, agreed.
People forget that. And it's Twitter. Twitter be twitting, so it's
Twitter be twitting for sure.
Twitter be twitting. Shit. My goodness. Going back to that question, if my main wasn't in it, would I still want to play Tekken? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would. I mean, she's not in it, and she's probably never going to be in it. So I'm kind of relegated to enjoying the game.
He's kind of forced to at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of forced. It's all right though. But you never know. Winter 2024. She could come out and say, "I'm gonna cry again," and rejoice.
Yeah, I mean, these two don't even have their mains in the game. Like, I mean,
Just-
David has Kazuya, but like, he was never a Kazuya main. He was always Bob main.
Bob
Yeah.
main.
Yeah.
You always represented Bob.
Bob main rise up.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, like as a kid, I really liked him in like Tekken 3. Sorry, in Tag 1, and he wasn't in 3. You know, and all that stuff. But you know, at the end of the day, like I will say, like I do get a sense from all of us that it's like it is a little waning. Like the desire to play the game, like you know, if they remove Yoshi, it's like you have to like kind of like not cope, but you have to like cope with another character, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
well, I guess I'm a fucking Kazuya main now, or Reina, or whoever may come
Yep.
out, and it kind of goes to show you, like I think about this all the time. It's like, what if I wasn't a Bob? Like, what would I be if like I was like a, I don't know, like a Shaheen main or something like that, right? How different would like modern David or like modern Jerry in your case, like what if he wasn't a Yoshimitsu main? Like what if he went all out with Leo? I always think about that, and I'm like, what if Bob wasn't supposed to be my main?
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
It's just like,
Interesting.
shit, you know, maybe I'm a fucking Zhao Yu player and I just didn't know, dude. Like, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah,
man.
so this
I
is
mean,
kind of the opportunity to figure out. And for you too, Mark. I mean, you're gonna,
Yeah.
you never know.
I mean, well, I think the situation, the reason why I've stayed with her for so long and kind of just done it is I kind of have the whole Mike Ross philosophy of fighting games, anyways. And the philosophy is like, okay, Mike Ross, what did he play? He played Honda, and Honda was trash, and he won because he kind of had good fundamentals. You know, that good stuff. Me, I have no fundamentals. Your boy can barely backdash. So I just kind of, you know, enjoyed the character, and I kind of figured out the way to get around not having that good stuff. So, but you know, I'm excited for Azusena. I'm excited for Yoshimitsu. I'm excited for all of these characters for me to learn and enjoy, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna get blown up. Let's go.
Yeah, I guess
Hell yeah.
if I didn't have my character, like, you know, Kazuya wasn't a main character in the game,
Yeah.
I would still, like, you know, be excited for the next game regardless, because I've gotten to like the level where I've played a lot of characters throughout like the course of Tekken, and especially like Tekken 7, like I at least have an idea of like how all the other characters work, and I play a lot of the characters. I've found some characters that are like pretty, you know, enjoyable. Like, you know, people are gonna call me a psycho. I like Shaheen. I really do. I like Heihachi. Leo's cool. You know, there's a lot of characters. Steve, you know, Lee. There's a lot of characters that I actually like enjoy playing. Besides Kazuya, and, like, there was a point where I didn't play Kazuya for like a whole month because I was like super angry at myself. But like that was like a long time ago. Like that was you know, but now, like, you know, since I do have my main, I'm gonna still play him regardless of if he's boring or not, because I love the character.
Oh,
Yeah, he had to be cool. That's the only reason I play him. I actually love Kazuya, but that's the
Yeah,
only
yo.
like if I had no one that I even had a remote connection to, done. Like I'm Minecraft and Monster Hunter and, you know, fucking
games.
coding stream.
Yeah.
That's
Watch
done.
games.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Yeah.
By the way, Kazuya has a nice shoe game. I'm just saying, my boy has
Yeah.
a nice shoe game. Damn.
Just
I
hot.
wish
Kazuya
I
got the
had a
drip, man.
Yeah.
I trip on trip.
He's Satan and a DSW shoes goer, dude. It's crazy. You know?
Let's go.
Yeah, for real. So, for like, I guess, the future of Tekken, right? Jermanji, how do you feel about the future of Tekken? Are you like excited for it? Are you, you know, kind of mixed feelings on it, or are you just gonna go balls deep into it?
I'm excited for it, but I just really don't like chip damage. I think that there's a multitude of different ways if, you know, developers got together, had a meeting about it, and just spun, you know, ideas that would be much better. Like the one that I can think of right now is just that lows hurt a lot more. Like that would be a good way to get people to start swinging and crack faster, or just because right now it feels like a combination of chip damage plus mix plus 50/50s, and Oki hurts like hell. So like they have 3 different variables. It's not even like one. It's like multiple. Like Oki is going, in my opinion, is going to be the most toxic it's ever been.
Oh yeah,
when people come out with it.
That. I agree with that fully. Because like one thing I did notice is that like a lot of things, especially like moves and stuff like that, they hit grounded. Yep. Like a lot of moves hit grounded, and like for odd reasons. I don't know if that like it's probably on purpose, but I guess it's up for people to the people that play those characters to find out like which Oki is most optimal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is they did buff sidestep, but I feel like they buffed tracking at the same time, so it feels like it kind of like evened out, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, so I've seen like 3 scenarios of sidestep, and it just makes me remember that realignment's still an issue. Hurtbox expansion looks like they're bigger on a lot of moves, so I don't necessarily know if it's too much better. I think there might be a placebo effect to it to a pretty good degree, but also I have seen a lot more stuff whiff that didn't whiff in 7, so it feels like it evens out, but then it feels like certain things are still the same. So it feels like 7 mixed with a buffed movement for Tekken 8. Okay.
Yeah.
You still have to deal with the same variables, and it's still going to be really annoying to deal with, even if they know how to apply said variables to open you up or make you think about different options.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's we'll see what happens with the real game. Again, like I only have CBT and the demo experience basically, so who knows? Maybe all these other characters. I mean, there's some crackers out there. We know of these fucking guys, right? And they're like waiting out there. And they like have a good idea. I would love for it to have just been like completely different from that, like and then the day 1 tourneys, these guys are getting blasted because they labbed the wrong fucking thing, and they're like, oh, guess what, bitch? He's not even like that. Kazuya doesn't even have a wave dash, or whatever. The fuck,
Just some big ass twist, yeah. That'd be pretty funny.
Other thing also to mention is you said something that really caught my eye, is that the game could be completely different. Like I like to go based on 7, where 7's vanilla was awful. It's unplayable.
Oh yeah.
But then it's a completely different game. I mean, we did have an arcade release, but if you think about it, if I'm doing the math correctly, every 3 months the game has done some significant change.
Yeah.
From CNT to CBT, Heat went from unstoppable to manageable. And we even saw that. In the showcase, where even the top players weren't like abusing Heat.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I mean, they don't know too much about the game, but I mean, like we saw. But I mean, although Nobi is a really good example, you would think if Heat was broken, he would have been utilizing it all the time.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that guy's aggressive as hell. His game style, like. It's like he's like basically trademarked the aggressive Japanese style through just him, and a couple of other Yamasa guys too. But I think so. Like it might be totally different. It might be whatever. I'm just excited. I'm
excited too.
Yeah,
excited for the first week of rank 2 because it's like. It's gonna be a lot of shit because like people aren't gonna be using the meta characters like at least like until they know yet, right? Like they're not gonna know for sure if they're meta characters or not. Everybody's gonna be eating like everything like because like they don't have the knowledge yet to lab it, right? And then 3 it's like everybody's gonna be playing ranked, right? Like everyone like PlayStation players, Xbox players, PC players, like we're all gonna be, met into one. I really cannot wait for that. It just cannot come any sooner.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
It's gonna be a fucking bloodbath, and it's gonna be super fun.
For the first people to be in like high blue ranks, it's gonna be a death everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm for it.
I mean, that's the reason I'm not going to Frosty because of that, because it's too soon. Because I found out recently that they're gonna have Tekken 8, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I'm not going, bro. To me, that's not fun. Like, so there might be some people that are gonna have fun with the chaos, but if I don't know anything, that doesn't feel fun to me.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's gonna be gross.
Yeah, it's gonna be crackers versus non-crackers. And it's just
basically.
Yeah, we have a day one $1,500 tournament in Aki, and it's just gonna be like, well, fuck, man, I have only Kazuya in the demo. If you pick, like, any other character that's not of those four, or at least someone that was Legacy, I'm fucked, man. Like, I'm just gonna hell sweep. That's all I can do, right? Like, what else am I gonna do?
Spam 442.
Yeah.
Also, this might be a controversing subject matter, but I'm gonna sound it off with, I don't think I'm not, like, shaming or, like, judging people who are playing the crack, to be honest with you. Because they released the demo, and I mean, the main person I could think of that was labbing and has access to playing with someone else so they could lab technically everything with 4 characters is Victim. Victim was on it like every day, and I think it's still been streaming a lot. I just haven't been catching it. And so if you give a demo to Victim like a month and a half or 2, that's a pretty big advantage.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking at newer players and such, but most likely not, because they have a lot of other stuff to grasp and understand. But if you give it to a top player, a high-level player, like, you know, you're giving, like, a monkey a loaded gun.
Yeah. 100%.
That's very, very true.
Yeah. There's no way that a huge player have not been cracking it. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know so.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people that do, and it's like, I haven't been hopping on it because I'm scared, right? I'm a bitch, right? I don't want to get banned, you know? I don't want to get... Yeah.
You know, like, in reality, they shouldn't have released the demo if they were only gonna make 4 characters, because there's just a lot of people that just are not going to play. Like, I've already seen it where a lot of people, like, they were checking out maybe a little later on in the demo cycle, but there's a lot of people I just have seen that haven't even got on the game, because they're like, well, Yoshi's not in it, this character's not in it. But I'm thinking of it as an opportunity to just fucking cut some of the work off, man. Like, you know, like 4 characters, if I can lab all their move lists and stuff like that, like, that's less work I have to do on release.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be labbing for the first 2 daes. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
I'm a lab monster.
Yeah.
Me too.
Same.
That's why I fucking love Tag 2. I fucking love Tag 2. I don't care how fucking unbalanced it is, dude. Like, the amount of shit that you can find in that game is so ridiculous, dude. Like, that's a lab monster's wet dream right there, and I fucking love it.
I mean, I think Tekken 8 will be that way. There's so many possibilities for fucked up tech, new information. Like, I'm so curious what is going to be hidden within the game, that stealth buffs and stealth nerfs, and how impactful they're going to be. And I don't know how different the game's going to be, but I do expect the game to change again. I expect people to have differences that are going to be impactful. Somewhere within the game that's not mentioned.
Dude.
Yeah.
First week of patch notes.
Oh, God.
How many characters are gonna get fucking nerfed to the ground? Which characters are keeping their shit? You know, that's gonna be one hell of a party.
Yeah.
Dude, there's even just like someone is grounded, and then you hit them with like a down back 4 with Kazuya. They flip. They fucking flip. And then you do it again. They flip again. It's like a new thing, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, that alone is gonna be so fucked up. Because, like, that's how many multiplied out shit is that, you know?
Did you notice that they gave this effect to all the moves that basically had no significant Oki purpose in 7?
Yeah.
Like, down back 3 with Brian does it. And that move was basically, you get hit by that, and then it's like, okay, they push you away in the open, and their turn's over. Unless, you know, or they have to taunt dash really quick. But even then, the turn's over. So it's like, now, like, and the potential at the wall from what I saw from, like, Momo Dog's video, all sort of type stuff. Like, some people are like, well, you can tech that. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the mix-up. Because if you tech, like, imagine teching on, like, Nina, and she gets wall running 1+2 in your face where she wants to be. Oh, thanks for giving me a tech. Now I have plus frames and I'm in your face.
Yep.
It's exactly what I want. You know, so like people who think that the tech is like, oh, it kills everything. No, it doesn't. It just creates more mind games and mix-ups.
Exactly.
Yep.
There's gonna be a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'll
Yeah,
just say.
I'm gonna lose for like half a year. Like it's just so much shit, at least way longer than that. But like I'm just gonna get blasted by Azucena. Like what the fuck am I supposed to do? This bitch is gonna dance in my face, and then I just have to eat it. You know, like yeah, all that stuff. But it's gonna be interesting. It'll be
It's gonna be fun.
yeah.
It's gonna be fun. So, kind of jumping off that kind of course. What are we looking at? The time there.
We are an hour and 20 in, so like the usual course of these things about an hour and a half max. But that's because we usually play also at the end. I know you're kind of your hands are in recovery right now, so we don't want to make you do that, obviously.
Yeah, we don't do that.
So yeah, up to you.
I'll kind of do my spiel on all that jazz. So I had a question for you there, Mr. Manji. Every interviewee that we come by, we want to ask you, who would you like us to interview next? Who would you like us to interview?
Joe Crush.
Oh
Crush?
Shit! All right.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Hell yeah. Alrighty.
And he just won the LCQ. That's perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing, actually.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Cool. We can make that work. We can make that happen.
Yeah, we'll hit him up.
The other person, I think, is Price.
Price. Oh, okay.
Everybody has Price. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty good.
Oh, I think yeah.
I actually did a price on our third or fourth interview.
Yep.
Oh, nice. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it was me and Price just chit chatting.
We have that
Cool.
uploaded, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, that
cool.
one's uploaded.
All right, sweet. Yeah. I've been
Yeah.
kind of I've been slacking for the past week or so my bad, you know.
No, it's still good. So yeah, any last words from the boys?
I just want to say thank you so much. I mean, dude, thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, Jerry. I mean, even just like a short time of like an hour and a half, we learned a shitload. I mean, I know we've already discussed this, but it's really cool to like elaborate on this, you know, and
Sure.
you know, it's
Well, technically, we had more time because the stream restarted, didn't it?
it did.
Like,
I did want to.
It cut out, right?
I guess the last thing that I would say, it's kind of like a topic to like talk about that I think would involves a lot of people, because I think a lot of people are also controversial about it, but I think it's also a good topic. Is I saw this from one of my students that he posted a couple about 3 or 4 different lists that he wants, and because it goes back to the idea of what Tooney said, right, about why does Akuma, Super Akuma get so much hate just because he plays Akuma? And it goes based on the fact that this community is so like driven to like throw people down. It feels like because they like certain characters. I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like he had Cooney in his list, and I really like Cooney too personally, just as a character. And it felt like he couldn't like a character. And he couldn't just say like have fun and just say he wanted Cooney there. Like so, they were just like all commenting on it and being negative, like Cooney shouldn't come back and all sorts of stuff. It's just the way that it was implied was like, man, dude, like some people can just look at a character and think they're fun, man, or really cool to be in the game. It doesn't have to do anything with how good they are, how cheap they are. There's no reason to bring any of that in. You know, like I mean, you could disagree, but you don't need to like railroad the guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like a weird, it's like all of like that like unpent like heat and anger is just like waiting to come out, and it's just like wow, you know, and as soon as they see it, and then like Super Akuma just kind of waltzes in and he's just sort of doing his normal thing, and then it's just everyone poops on him because they're like, oh, you're the face of Akuma. Even though technically it's like really Pakistan that brought it forward more than anyone else, to be honest. And
Yeah, very true.
So it's kind of crazy. I don't know. People just get mad.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, I understand it, but I just think that it goes way too far.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just.
Yeah.
I mean, not gonna lie. I mean, I've always said stuff like this, but I just think that there's not a lot of open-minded people to different ways to look at things. You know, and I also think that, I don't know, 50% or so of the people in the community do not lab the game.
Yep.
So, or lab the game well, or just in general. So you have all the masses that literally complain about the character because said top player says it, Like, that's something else that I've noticed, that there's a lot of people that go based on just what top players say and they don't form their own opinions.
Yep.
Like, me personally, just kind of, just a little, spiel a little bit. I like to say this. I think that, someone told me this one day and I kind of go with it sometimes. I think a lot of people think of me as like this crazy old guy on an island. Like, oh, look at that crazy guy, man. He got all this, look how crazy he is. He's saying Cooney not good and, you know, just all sort type of stuff. And it's just because I feel like I live in the minority with my opinions, and I don't just follow suit. You know, like if someone says like, "Oh, this character's top 5," there's a lot of people that wouldn't even question it. They'd be like, "Bro, you know, Arslan said that. He's got to know, right?" And it's just like, I'd be the guy who questions it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd be curious about it. You know, I'd probably get. They probably get upset with me, but I mean, I'm someone who I don't live in other people. I don't live I don't want to be the same opinion as everyone else. I want to have my own.
Yeah. It's just a matter, you have to be an expert to be able to give that opinion, and most people aren't. But most people just turn on ranked and they're like, hell yeah, let's go. I used to be high the entire time I played, dude. I would do bong rips versus like anyone, you know, just on stream, off stream, it doesn't matter, you know. I've done bong rips on fucking the stage of tournaments, you know, like just or pen rips, whatever you call those things. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't until I stopped and I'm like, oh wait, you gotta study.
Yeah. I feel like like with the whole like not open-minded people, I feel like that's sort of the reason why I feel like NA and EU actually struggle a lot, because like when it comes to like trying to beat the Koreans and the Pakistanis and stuff like that, like we do get those instances sometimes where we do beat one of them, right, or like take some of them out, right, but like we're like the thing that we have to consider is that like in the whole lifespan of Tekken 7, there's not been a single American or EU player to win Evo.
Yes, that is very true.
Like, why do you think the reason is for that? Like, you don't see the Koreans like fucking the Koreans and the Pakistanis, like when they play against each other, you don't see them like fucking, you know, banging on their desks like, yo, this fucking character's fucking cheek, like, yo, fuck this character, like, yo, if you made this character, fuck you, or whatever. You know, they're not doing that. Like, they're just kind of like accepting it, right? Like, like, you know, maybe they are like that on the inside, but they're not like openly like, fuck this character, like fuck this guy, like I'm gonna fucking tweet on like on Twitter, like I'm gonna call him out and like all this other shit. Like, oh no, like that guy got better, like I hope he gets worse or whatever. Like they don't do shit like that. I see that a lot in NA. I see a lot of people preying on other people's downfall. I see people being like, yeah, like I hope this guy fucking loses or whatever. Like, yo, fuck this guy. He uses this character. Why is he using this character? Like, yo, he's fucking boring. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
It's either really negative or it's just like, dude, people just might enjoy the character. There's so many times that people are like, oh yeah, you would play June in Tekken 8. She's really cheap, so that'd be for you. And I just be like, bro, she's just very fun. She might be broken, allegedly. I think she's gonna be broken. But I mean, I just think also that it's okay to enjoy characters even if they turn out to be really strong. And I think that it shouldn't be like, people shouldn't like, bash people so hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah.
I just think that people should question more instead of just conform to like what others do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We definitely need a lot more open-minded individuals, especially at high level. You know, I know, you know, I'm not gonna name names, but I do know a lot of high-level players that are not very open-minded. They're very closed-minded, and it's like,
just say them.
Like,
just say them, dude. Don't worry about
no.
it.
I'm not gonna say them. No.
Just rip it out. Just rip it out.
I'm not gonna say it.
I can understand that. I mean, sometimes
you probably already know. you probably already have those names in your head of like who's not open-minded and stuff.
Yeah, probably. I can think of one or a few for sure, but I mean, it also comes to the fact that there is actually a group of people that are like OGs to the game that literally like you can't. I heard this at one point. I don't remember who told me this, but there are OG players like you can't tell them anything, even if you're trying to help them.
Yep.
Like, you know, they're just like, bro, I've been playing the game way longer than you. Like, I would know, and it's like, I mean, I know I might be new to you, but I've been labbing the entire roster, man. I'm just trying to give you information or something of that sort, and and they don't want to hear it. So I mean, like that's an indicator, if anything.
Yeah, the only way I've gotten better is people tell me what to do. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Exactly, and like.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, finish out, Jenny.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like, like, you can give the respect that to the OGs, right? Like the legendary players, right? But I don't feel like people should put them on a level where their opinion matters more than other people's opinions. I don't think that's the thing. Definitely respect them. Like they hustled their way to the top, right? Like they got to the top for, their own hard work, right? But it's like, don't put them on a level where like, oh, his opinion outweighs yours or whatever. It's like, what the fuck? Like, he doesn't even play my character. What the fuck you mean?
It kind of goes back. It goes into also the idea. Like, I'll be like, this part of the reason I'm controversial and people fight with me, because they'll be like, bro, like, he knew how to adapt to that. He is adapting. That's Arsenal Ash, or that's so and so. He believes in Arsenal. Let me think of someone else. That's Joey Fury. Like, he's got to be adapting. He's got to know every character, right? And it's just like, they don't, bro. Like, you can get really far with just playing fundamentals in Tekken. Like, for example, JCR doesn't know Geese at all. I don't know if it's still the same, but Mayoel really shows and exposes that he doesn't know Geese. But if you talk to people who are just paying attention and not looking closely at things, they'd be like, he knows Geese, look how well he's doing. It's like, he's playing Tekken. That's why. Like, when you get good enough at the game, Tekken doesn't change too much, so you can still look like characters.
Yeah.
That is a very big fact.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, he's just good at Tekken. Yeah.
It's not talked about enough, like, at all, when people are like that, because I'm like, well, what do you think character matchup is? Some people ask me, I'm like, how about stepping strings, spacing at certain stuff? Like, there's a multitude of ways to tell if someone's using character knowledge, or they're beating you at Tekken, or both.
Yeah.
I just think people shouldn't put people on pedestals. Like, I've heard about Nii, I've heard about all these characters, and I'm like, it's not even supposed to be like shade or anything to like your favorite players. It's just realistic. Like, I'm someone who tries to be as realistic as possible, even when it comes to like tournament, like me doing well in tournament or these people doing well in tournament. That's just how I am.
You wanted to say something earlier, right, Mark?
Oh yeah. So I had a question for you there, Manji. Are you going to make another notebook, if you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think it'll be a notebook. It'll probably be on my computer now. But
Okay.
I mean, I might. I'm not sure yet. I mean, I still have my 3 or 4, but I mean, I might make one or two maybe.
Okay, cool.
Really depends on if I can use my wrist that long, because I can't write for long periods of time.
Yeah. Because like when I first met Manji years ago, he had this notebook with every single character's like punished and not punished and sidesteppable thing on an entire like 3-ringed notebook.
Wow.
And I don't know where that. Did you lose it or something, or what happened?
No, I have 5 of them.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. That's some dedication there. And that's actually really cool.
Yeah, that's where, whenever things get controversial, that's where a lot of my opinions and the way how I view certain characters that might be considered top tier is that they come from the lab and experience. Like, that's something I don't think a lot of people put. Like, if a character's entirely steppable, that's obviously going to be a bad thing, even if people are like, well, you see it in gameplay and people don't step. I mean, that's not because you can't step the character, most likely. Or you can't walk the character to their weak side. Like, there's a lot of stuff people don't do in matchups, and I see it all the time. And there's not really a reason for it besides either lack of knowledge or just not thinking about the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, I think after all that talking and everything else, and all the really great information that we got from us, what do you guys think? What's this conclusion here, boys?
If you guys knew the song that's playing right now, like it's like perfect for what's
I
happening.
have my own music on right now, but
It's that tag 2 like ice cream or whatever, you know, that fucking opera song. So you just like ended it on like a perfect note. It's fucking stupid ass
That's
song.
what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. That's what the host does, ladies and gentlemen. The host ends it when he needs to end it. Jeez, I'm a genius.
Yeah, Tekken Ball
Oh.
music and tag 2, yeah.
Well, obviously, I've decided that instead of manning Azucena, I'm just going to be the best Tekken ball player in the world. Hold that.
Oh, see me there too.
Yep. All right, 1v1s. All right, fine, let's do it.
I can't
like
wait
it.
for Tekken Ball.
It's tournaments. I'm down.
Tournament
500
tier list. Separate
$500
tier list. We got one for
Yo.
the base game, right? And then we got tier list for Tekken Ball.
Yo, it already looks like martial law is pretty much OP. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah. But I'll just say that Manji, thanks for coming by. Thank you. We appreciate you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and hang out with us and chit chat about Tekken, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait for
Come on.
I can't wait for you to, I don't know when you're visiting again. I think you told me when you're visiting Seattle again, but I'd like to, meet you in person, get some games with you. We hang out with, fucking James and stuff.
As long as I have a ride, I'll be there.
Yeah, hell yeah. Sounds
Shit.
good.
Damn. Reuniting with the old boys, huh?
Yo,
Yeah, I'll be there on the 15th.
Sick. Hell yeah.
Well, everybody go follow Manji. He's out there on Twitter, and here, let me paste in his Twitch as well. Or actually, wait, I can just shout you on the chat. There you go. Definitely go give him a follow. Like, I know sometimes, well, when the dojo's running again, I know sometimes they'll be doing like the discussions and whatnot on there. Also, he streams at time to time, so it's always a fucking learning experience. Definitely go check out his channel, and yeah, just look at his gameplay and tournaments. You learn a lot,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to stream a lot more in Tekken 8. Right now, there's just been a long hiatus because I can't even play an hour right now. But we're working on it. I'm at least playing now. I can play 30 minutes a day. So I was actually not going to play any gaming still until the 26th because I haven't been playing games for probably since November 26th.
Wow.
So I was gonna keep doing that, but I decided to come back early to see if there was any problems potentially that I could iron out the kinks and stuff like that with getting back into it. So far, 30 minutes seems to be going okay, so I might be able to go up to an hour soon.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for the
Nice,
speedy recovery, man.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, guys. I will keep the stream going after this, so we'll go on break. But then the stream will end and then start because I want to be on Linux. So I'll switch to Linux and then
The Linux crew.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so on that note, guys, if you guys haven't already, go check out the YouTube. That's where we post the VODs for the OG Tekken podcast. This one will also be uploaded soon on YouTube. Yep. And then check out the Twitter as well. Follow everybody else's, individual Twitters on here too. But make sure you follow OG Tekken Podcast Twitter for updates and more information. Yeah, and then we also, if you guys didn't know, obviously you guys that are in the Oni Bakuman channel, you guys know that, obviously David streams it to his own channel, but we also have, he's also multi-streaming it to the other channel, which is the OG Tekken Podcast channel on Twitch. So make sure you go over there already if you haven't already. Hit the follow button, and yeah, keep updated, guys. This is going strong.
I love it. Hey. 3 weeks into 2024. We're hopefully gonna get some big things going. We got some stuff kind of down the pipe.
Yeah, we got one more podcast, guys, before Tekken 8 comes out, guys. So
let's get it.
Yeah, be sure to tune in for the next one for our last podcast for Tekken 7.
Yep.
7 our last one. Wow.
Yep.
Try to end it with something special.
Yes. We'll make it good. We'll make it good for you boys and girls and everybody else.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, peace, y'all.
Yeah.
Deuces. We're just ending
Later.
it.
Yeah,
Deuces.
that was fun. Yeah. So,
Thank you, Peter. Thank you,
oh,
everybody. Thank you, my guy,
you.
for being fucking unhinged as always.
Yo, the unhinged.
All right. Well,
But yeah, on that note, peace out, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next
Have a good
week.
night, guys.
thanks, Jerry.
Peace.
Bye.
Thanks,
Peace.
guys.
No problem.
All right. I stopped the recording too early. Fuck. That's all right. It's fine. Okay. So that was tight. That was a really good one. Shoot that guy? That's fine. We can shoot him. I'm happy to. Let's see. All right. So here's the deal. I gotta piss. I gotta get food from next door. I gotta. Oh, yeah, that's probably smart. Yeah. Honestly, I added the names just, like, right before that. You know, that's actually a smart idea. Yeah, this is a fucking, you know, sometimes it's kind of a blow up with the way I set it up. But, yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll do that in advance next time. I want to be shot. Damn. Not misogynist. What's the one where you want to, like, get fucked up all the time? It's, like those pain people. Yeah. But anyways, the stream will continue. I'll play I don't know if I feel like playing Tekken, but I think we'll play some Half-Life. And what I'll do is Sadist. Oh, what's up, Moon? How's it going? Yeah, Hedonizer. Sure, yeah, Sadist I think is what you think. It's like when you want to, like, you know, put wax on your wiener and like scream in pain and all that kind of shit. No gameplay. There is right now. It's well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on break. I'm gonna switch it to Tekken, to Linux, and then we'll just continue with Half-Life. I have to take a break though because I have to piss. I have to get something from my parents next door, and then bring it back here, and then you know, all that. So the stream will end for like a minute. I gotta reboot the computer. This place sucks. No, man. No first to threes? Yeah, dude, we're going Linux, man. You guys won't see any goddamn difference. You'll see Half-Life, okay? All right, I'll be right back. Let's go on break, and maybe it'll be like 10 minutes or so, but then we'll be back and doing that stuff. You guys want Tekken? You guys want Tekken? I planned it for Half-Life, but word BRB. Yeah, we'll go, I don't know if I feel like playing Tekken. Yeah, Tekken's about to end, though. What do you guys, I don't know. Tekken is, fuck no, we want Half-Life? Okay. All right. Then we'll go on break. I'll be back shortly, and BRB.